If I could go back 10 years and start my business over again, there are six things I would do completely differently. And honestly, some of them are so obvious now that it's almost painful because I spent years working incredibly hard and not necessarily on the things that actually made me money. I was busy, I was learning, I was creating, I was researching, I was taking all the courses, I was joining all the masterminds and taking all the coaching, and I was working constantly, but I was not always moving the needle. So in this video, I'm going to show you the six things I would do differently starting a business today in 2026. And the last one is probably the most important because it's the one that separates people who stay stuck working on their business from the people who actually create income and a real sustainable online business. So if you're building an online business, selling digital products, or trying to make money from home without burnout, this is going to save you a lot of time, energy, and unnecessary detours. If we haven't met yet, I'm Kimberly Latona. I've spent the last 15 plus years coaching entrepreneurs and building businesses. And over the past several years, I've built multiple income streams online while raising three young boys and working part-time hours. I've also made a lot of mistakes. So this video is not just theory. This is the advice that I would give the version of me who was hustling hard, doing too much, and not yet focused on what actually creates freedom. And when I say freedom, I mean time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. So before I get into the six things, here's the biggest reframe. If I were starting over today, I wouldn't try to look successful at first. I would build simple systems first because simple systems make money. Complicated systems or no systems usually just make you tired. Okay, so let's get started. The first one, number one, I would build an email list before I built a following. Okay, so if I were starting over today, I would build an email list before I worried about growing a following on social media. And this is one of the biggest things that I would change because followers are nice, but they don't pay the bills. Subscribers are better. Your email list is an asset. Okay, it's the thing that you own, it's the thing that you can use to contact people directly. It's a thing that still works even if social media changes, your reach drops, the algorithm shifts, like one of the social media platforms drops off the grid or a platform just decides not to show your content anymore. And the best part is this doesn't have to be complicated. Okay, you don't need some fancy funnel. You don't need multiple freebies. You just need one simple opt-in page, one useful free resource, and one email form. That's it. The freebie that could be what I call the step zero of of your process. Okay. What is the step zero of something that needs, like, if someone needs to get from point A to point B, what is the step zero? Like, what is the first thing that they need to know or understand? It could just be about awareness, right? It could be like something with questions. It could be a questionnaire. It could be like just letting them know, like, that giving them an understanding that they actually need what you offer. Okay. So it helps people with the problem before solving the full problem. So for example, if you want to help moms organize homeschool, your freebie could be my one-page weekly homeschool workflow. Okay? The freebie should be related to the problem that you want to help people solve. Okay? So it should naturally lead to your future offer if you don't have your offer yet, or if you have your offer, it should obviously lead to your offer. So you can set all of this up for free inside of System.io, which is what I use for all of my business. Basically, it runs my entire business, and you can set up with a template and just be done. So if you want the simple version of this whole setup, you should download my free Digital Freedom Business Blueprint below. Okay, the next point is one of the biggest reasons why I think people stay stuck. This is the second thing. If I were starting over today, I would choose one product, one strategy, and one platform for 1 year. I know that sounds like a huge commitment, but it's not forever, okay? It's long enough to build momentum because momentum likes focus. What killed my momentum in the past was constantly switching. I was constantly switching offers, platforms, strategies, mentors. I was switching to what I thought would be faster each time, or easier, or like trendier. But every time you switch, you start over. And starting over feels productive for a minute because it gives you the dopamine hit, but it usually delays results. Okay. If I were starting over from scratch, I would stop trying to create multiple streams of income before I had one stream already working and already producing and consistent. Okay, that's why I talk so much about one product, one funnel, one clear system. Because once something starts working, then you can optimize, right? You can scale, you can diversify. But at the beginning, too many options usually ends up being a trap. Okay, number three, make content that has a longer shelf life than your energy. Okay, this is a huge one. If I were starting over today, I would create content with a longer shelf life than my daily energy. Okay, because sometimes I don't have a lot of daily energy. I have three young kids, three boys under 7 years old. Okay, one of the biggest mistakes I made in the past was building around content that disappeared too fast. Okay, I was doing Instagram stories. They have a short shelf life. Okay, Facebook posts, also a short shelf life. TikToks, even shorter of a shelf life. Okay. And if you're a busy mom, someone with limited energy, or maybe even an ADHD or neurodivergent entrepreneur, this matters even more. Because if your whole business depends on you constantly pumping out content just to stay visible, burnout is almost guaranteed. Okay. And that's what I love about content like this, YouTube, right? Like videos like this long form content on YouTube. Okay. Even blog posts, those live on forever, right? Somebody can Google search something and a blog post could come up on your website could come up from 10 years ago, right? Or Pinterest content even, because it's also search based instead of just social media. Instead of just seeing what's coming up in your feed, it's actually just like it's coming up from the content that people are searching. Okay. And all of these things can keep working for you long after you post them. Okay. So caveat, I'm not saying that any of the social media platforms are wrong. And if you've been here long enough, you know that I teach my students to focus on one. So if Instagram is your thing, I am not discouraging you from doing that. I'm just saying what works for me because I have posted a lot on Instagram and I have seen so much more traction, so much faster on YouTube than on Instagram and with so much less work, so many less posts. It's my personal YouTube is my personal favorite because it's a search engine. It builds trust fast. It compounds over time, and there's multiple ways to monetize beyond your own offer. Okay, that means you can work less and earn more over time instead of feeling like your business resets every 48 hours. Okay, or 24 hours if you're just using Instagram stories. This is one of the most underrated forms of leverage. And if I had understood this 10 years ago, I would build with a lot less stress and a lot less time. Okay, number four, build something that can make money while you sleep. Okay, if I were starting over today, this would be my non negotiable. I would build something that can earn money while I sleep because that's the real flex of online business. Okay, not being busy, not looking successful, not posting constantly, freedom. And what most people actually want isn't more work from home. Like, I don't want to work more from home. I don't want to work as much as I do from home as I did in my corporate job, right? Like, I don't want to work 40 hours a week. That's the whole point of working from home. I should be able to do more in less time, right? And accomplish more and make more money in less time. Okay. Most people don't want to work more. They want flexibility and peace of mind and more choices and more time with their family and less pressure and less dependence on showing up live every day to get paid. And that's why I fell in love with digital products. So you're not shipping products, you're not restocking inventory, you're not delivering one-on-one services every hour, and your main role and your only daily task becomes driving traffic to the system. Okay, that's why this is one of the best ways to sell digital products online if freedom matters to you. And it's also why digital products have such a strong profit margin compared to so many other models. All right, number five, get wildly specific about how you help people. Okay. A lot of people say who, but if I were starting over today, I would spend less time obsessing over who my ideal client is and more time getting crystal clear about how I help them. Of course, it's helpful to know who you want to help, but I think a lot of people hide behind the ideal client avatar work because it feels safer than actually creating an offer and putting it out into the world. The more important question is, how does your product help someone? Okay, that's what makes it sell. What is the result that they're getting? What is it that they want that you are helping them do, be, or have? Okay, this is exactly what I talk about in my video, the previous video that I posted on the most profitable digital product niche. Okay, the how matters more than obsessing over the who. And if you want the best digital products to sell online, the answer is usually the products that are most specific about the problem that they solve and the result that they can create. Okay, last one. Number six, stop stressing about everything that doesn't really matter. Okay, this is the biggest one. If I could go back and change one major thing, it would be this. I would stop spending so much time on all the things that felt productive, but actually didn't create any income. I spent years working full time on my business before I had kids, and I made very little money for a long time because I was spending so much time learning and tweaking, researching, organizing, creating, making lists, color coding the list, making spreadsheets, trying to make everything look perfect, trying to look successful, and so little time actually doing the things that matter most. Okay. Showing up and telling people how I can help them, being vulnerable and getting myself out there and just being consistent and being vulnerable. Okay. That's what moves the needle. That's what creates leads. That's what creates buyers. That's what creates income. And yes, it's uncomfortable because it requires vulnerability. It requires being seen and like not hiding behind your laptop anymore. Okay. It requires telling the truth about what you know and how you can help instead of hiding behind the more learning and more and getting more experience. Okay. If I were starting over, I would make sure that at least 80% of my work time was spent on revenue generating tasks. So things like creating content that drives traffic, writing emails that nurture and sell, improving offers that already exist, not creating new ones every month, promoting my free resource and collecting emails, and telling people how I can help them. Okay, not endlessly color coding my Notion board or redesigning my logo 12 times or consuming more information that I can't even realistically implement. Okay, and this is also where I would protect the human part. Because yes, AI can do a lot. It can help you write, it can help you brainstorm, it can help you organize, but it can never be you. It cannot replace your story, your perspective, your experience, your voice, your way of helping people feel seen. That's your edge. So if I were starting over today, I would stop trying to do everything and I would focus on a handful of things that actually lead to income. That is the real shift. And honestly, this is why having a simple system matters so much. Because not because you need more pressure, but because when you know what to focus on, what actually matters, what your product is, what your content is doing, and where your leads are going, it gets so much easier to stop spinning your wheels. That's the difference between building randomly and building with leverage. So if I were starting my business over today, the 6 things I would do differently are build an email list before building a following, focus on one product, one strategy, and one platform for 1 year, create content with a longer shelf life than my energy, build something that can earn money while I sleep, get wildly specific about how I help people, and stop stressing over everything that doesn't matter and focus on revenue generating tasks. If I had done these things earlier, I would have made progress a lot faster and with a lot less stress. So don't forget to download my free blueprint below. And now that you know what I would do differently, the next thing you need to understand is what actually makes a digital product niche profitable. So watch this next video because when you pair this next video with what you learned here, it becomes a lot easier to choose the right product and start making money online. See you in the next video.